A few years ago, I walked into my bank in Beirut to withdraw my own money, savings from years of hard work. The teller looked me in the eyes and simply said, "You cannot." That moment changed my life forever. It wasn't just a local crisis. It was a wake up call to how fragile the global financial system really is. I watched people lose decades of savings overnight, but not because they were actually reckless, but because they trusted a system that was not designed to protect them. But this isn't just about one country. It was a preview of what happens when financial systems reach their breaking point. A warning for developed nations. Right now, global forces are converging to create a reset of how wealth and work actually functions. If you feel the tension in the air, you aren't alone. Today, we're looking at two massive forces rewriting the rules of your life, and more importantly, how you can build a system to resist them. We are currently at the tail end of what economist Ray Dalio calls the big debt cycle, a period that typically lasts between 80 to 120 years. History shows us that near the end of these cycles, we see chaotic shifts, from falling empires to changing world orders to rising geopolitical risks to increasing debt and finally currency debasement. The engine behind this chaos is the unchecked spending of governments. Governments have grown so large that their spending is now on a permanent upward trajectory. And to keep up with this spending, they run continuous deficits, meaning they spend far more than they bring in through taxes. To cover these deficits, they take on debt. And as that debt pile grows larger throughout the cycle, the interest on that debt increases exponentially. Take the world empire as an example, the USA. The government brings in around $5.2 trillion in revenue annually and spends around $7 trillion. Therefore, they have to borrow $1.8 trillion every single year just to keep up with their expenses. Over this long-term debt cycle, the US has accumulated around $39 trillion in total debt. Nearly $1 trillion is now spent just to service that debt. That's around 20% of the total taxes you pay goes directly to service the interest on the debt. This creates a vicious feedback loop. Higher interests lead to higher government expenses, which leads to deeper deficits requiring even more debt. Eventually, the only way to keep the system alive is to print money and debase the currency, making it easier to pay the growing debt with weaker currency. And this is done by literally typing new numbers into the system to cover that gap. But as it's always known, there is no free lunch. When money expansion happens faster than we can produce real goods and services, the result is systematic currency debasement. This is inflation, the silent tax that erodes the purchasing power of anyone saving in government currencies, also known as fiat currencies. You work harder, but your money buys less. And just as the monetary system is stretching thin, artificial intelligence is arriving to disrupt the labor market. AI isn't just coming for factory workers. It's now competing with developers, analysts, and accountants. When your job security is threatened by automation and your savings are being melted by money printing, the middle class gets squeezed from both sides. The very idea of job security is being rewritten while the value of your paycheck is melting away. The urgency to act has never been higher. Because if you rely on the system to save you, you may find yourself dependent on universal basic income, a cushion that keeps you from starving but never allows you to be free. To survive this, you need three things. One, financial literacy. You must understand how the monetary system actually works. If you don't know how money is created through that, you cannot protect your capital from the next wave of inflation. Second, asset ownership. You cannot save your way to freedom in a debasing currency. You must move your surplus into hard assets. Things like gold, Bitcoin, real estate. These outperform inflation and ensure you aren't dependent on a future government check. And finally, knowing how to use decentralized tools and being financially sovereign. In an era of rising geopolitical risk and potential system failures, your wealth must be portable. You need assets that are international, borderless, and resistant to censorship. This is where tools like Bitcoin, for example, comes in. Not as a get-rich-quick scheme, but as a digital version of gold that you can carry anywhere in the world if you need to move quickly. The rules have changed, and operating effectively in this new economy requires a new approach to personal finance. In my new book, Future Proof, I provide the exact blueprint to automate and organize your personal finances so you can resist the rising forces that we have been talking about throughout this video. The system follows 5 critical steps. Step number 1, setting up your personal financial statement. This is your mission control dashboard. It's a tool I have developed to give you a bird's eye view on your financial health, merging your budget and balance sheet to show you exactly your cash flow, what you own, and what you owe. Second, the budget surplus. This is to ensure you are running consistent monthly surplus that serves as the essential fuel for your wealth machine. It helps you keep track of your cash flow so you don't end up like the world empire, drowned in forever increasing expenses and debt. 3, your freedom number. This is your escape velocity. We use precise calculation to determine exactly how much invested capital you need based on your verified expenses so that returns on that capital fully cover your living costs. Once you hit that number, money starts working for you. Work becomes optional and you officially buy back your time. 4, setting up your balance sheet. Here, you identify your investment universe, which assets you would like to own for the long term and feed systematically over time. You then populate and organize your balance sheet accordingly so you can track exactly what you own and what you owe to ensure your net worth is actively compounding toward your freedom number. And finally, 5, the low maintenance automation. We set the entire system on autopilot. I help you establish a routine that ensures you are consistently feeding your assets from your surpluses every single month. This removes the psychological stress and eliminates the need to spend 5 hours a day staring at charts or binge watch Bloomberg, for example. And to support that system, Freedom Capital serves as a teaching hub for decentralized tools, ensuring that the wealth you are creating through the system is sovereign and that you can operate independently of fragile centralized systems. We also provide weekly market analysis to keep you informed on macro shifts and digital assets. This ensures you remain proactive rather than reactive, protecting your assets and maintaining your growth trajectory as the global economy continues its reset. The future is being rewritten right now, either by you or for you. You can wait for the next crisis to push you into action, or you can take control of your sovereignty today. Download Future Proof, start with the framework. It's free using the link below. Also, join our free community. If you want guidance on using Web3 tools and staying updated on global shifts, Freedom Capital is where that journey begins. Let's build that system that makes freedom your default setting. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you inside the community.